Not too long ago, Walmart used to only allow American-based companies to sell on its third-party marketplace, even if those companies were sourcing their goods from China. But due to pressure from Amazon, Temu, and Shein, Walmart officially opened up its marketplace to international sellers in 2021. And within just 1 year, a whole slew of Chinese language websites started popping up out of nowhere, teaching Chinese sellers how to sell on Walmart. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly what's happening right now, what it means for third-party Walmart sellers like you and me, and what you must do right now to prepare yourself as an e-commerce seller. But first off, what exactly is happening right now? After all, Walmart opened up its doors to China back in 2021, so what's different for this particular year? Well, even though Walmart opened up its doors to China several years ago, they didn't really make a concerted effort to recruit Chinese sellers until recently. According to data from Marketplace Pulse, new Chinese sellers have spiked big time since the end of 2023. For example, in April of 2023, new Chinese sellers represented just 1.8% of all new sellers on the Walmart marketplace. But by October of 2023, that figure reached 24%, and by April of this year, it hit 73.8%, a record high. Crazy, right? That means that 74 out of every 100 people who sign up to sell on Walmart are Chinese sellers based in China. Now, this large influx is due to the fact that Walmart is investing heavily into resources to onboard new Chinese sellers this year. For example, in February, the company released a Seller Central dashboard interface in Chinese and held a seller summit in Shenzhen in March. And they're actively training and guiding Chinese sellers throughout the process of joining and succeeding on the platform. Now, I've been selling online since 2007, and Walmart is following the exact same footsteps as Amazon. Back in 2016, Amazon did the exact same thing by personally onboarding Chinese sellers onto their platform. Amazon even offered a special service called Dragon Boat, which allowed Chinese sellers to ship directly into Amazon fulfillment centers quickly and at an extremely low cost, a service that was unavailable in the beginning for US sellers. Now fast forward a few years later, and over 50% of the top sellers on Amazon are now from China. The exact same thing will happen to Walmart, except to an even greater degree, because Walmart didn't have that many American third-party sellers to begin with. My colleagues who sell on both Amazon and Walmart say that Walmart only accounts for 4 to 6% of their revenue when comparing Amazon versus Walmart. Now just for fun, go on walmart.com right now and do a search for anything, and you won't find very many American brands or any recognizable brands for that matter. For example, just the other day, I was looking for a lavalier mic for my phone. So I typed in lavalier mic into walmart.com expecting to find familiar names like Rode, Shure, and DJI, but not a single one of those brands came up. Instead, my search results were littered with brands like Nobi, Fulensu, and Roni. The exact same thing happened when I searched for webcams. All I got were random Chinese brands selling super cheap products at impossibly low prices. In my conclusion, Walmart is literally a junkyard of Chinese knockoff brands all based in China. Now, as I mentioned earlier, once upon a time, Walmart used to only allow American-based companies to sell on the platform. But competition from companies like Temu and Shein pushed them over the edge. Now, for all of you who are unfamiliar with Temu, it's a Chinese-based marketplace that ships products direct from China to the US at rock-bottom prices. And for some reason that I cannot explain, the US tax laws are extremely favorable to Chinese sellers shipping direct from China to the US. According to the de minimis rules, any international shipment into the US does not have to pay any customs duties or taxes as long as the order is valued at less than $800. As a result, Chinese sellers do not have to pay a penny of taxes to sell in the US. Meanwhile, US sellers have to pay hefty tariffs and customs duties when importing containers of goods, which adds to their costs. It just doesn't make sense, and this law needs to be rectified. Anyway, companies like Temu and Shein are eating Walmart alive. According to GWS Magnify, Temu had 82.4 million active shoppers on its app in September of 2023, and they've only been around for 2 years. By comparison, eBay only drew 40 million active online shoppers that month, while Temu was tied with Walmart, which had 85.5 million online users. Crazy, right? In just 2 years, Temu has caught up with Walmart in terms of traffic and is basically beating Walmart at its own game of low-cost products. And if this pattern continues, Walmart's online marketplace could be finished before it gains any momentum. Now, if you want to envision what Walmart will look like in the next couple of years, Just take a look at Amazon today, minus all the premium high-end products. Walmart will literally become a cesspool of cheap Chinese products, and here's the thing. Walmart was never known for selling high-end merchandise to begin with, and it's going to be hard for them to out-Temu. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far and you want to learn how to sell online the right way, make sure you sign up for my free 6-day e-commerce mini course below. Now, so far in this video, I've been giving Walmart a hard time for selling out to China, but every single marketplace seems to be doing the exact same thing. For example, Etsy recently opened up its marketplace back to Chinese sellers this year due to severe financial pressure. The past 3 years haven't been good for Etsy's stock, and their gross sales have been decreasing year over year. Well, what's the easiest way to boost profits on a stagnant marketplace? Bring China back onto the platform. Like Walmart, Etsy banned Chinese sellers on the platform in 2021 due to worries about protecting the integrity of the handmade marketplace. But because of Wall Street pressure, they added China back onto the Etsy Payments approved country list this year. And from Etsy's perspective, this is going to be fantastic for earnings as it opens up the market to 1.4 billion new people. For consumers and Etsy sellers, however, not so much. Can you just imagine a mom and pop shop on Etsy who hand makes all their goods going up against a Chinese factory who doesn't have to pay any taxes and employs cheap labor? It's game over. Recently, Amazon announced a brand new marketplace to compete directly against Temu. And as we speak, Amazon is busy in China rounding up factories to sell products directly to the US from China at rock bottom prices to fight Temu and Shein. And this time, Amazon doesn't care about shipping times. These new Chinese products will take 9 to 11 days to arrive compared to 2-day Prime shipping. Now, why did Amazon make this drastic unprime-like move? Well, Temu and Shein have decimated Amazon's sales for the last 2 years, and Amazon's apparel business is down 30% year over year. It's just a matter of time before every major marketplace in the United States is just a junkyard of all the same unbranded stuff from China. Here's just some stats to illustrate what's happening. This year, Chinese third-party sellers are expected to surpass 66.8% of Amazon's online sales. And right now, Walmart's reliance on third-party vendors is estimated to constitute about 11.3% of its total annual online revenue. But this number will grow exponentially this year due to their Chinese onboarding efforts. Now, here's something that bothers me about the US government, and I want to know your opinion. The consumer economy in China is softening, which is forcing Chinese companies to look outside the country for customers. In other words, there's a huge demand in China to tap into the US market. But the difference between China and the US is that China actively implements policies that are favorable for its citizens. For example, the Chinese government often offers subsidies to Chinese factories so they can lower their prices even more in US markets. With government support, even the smallest Chinese brands can go overseas and make money abroad and cut out the middleman. Meanwhile, the US laws like the de minimis rules actually make it harder for someone in the US to compete. I don't really get it. Both Chinese and US sellers should theoretically be on the same footing in terms of having to pay taxes. It seems unfair for China to be able to sell tax-free. In any case, what are the implications for e-commerce sellers like you and me? And more importantly, what should you do about it? Well, first off, you should not target the low-end customer. The reason companies like Temu and Shein are succeeding right now is because they are literally selling cheap throwaway junk. Now, depending on who you talk to, we're either in a recession right now or about to be in one, and Americans are extremely price conscious. Once upon a time, it was all about fast delivery and speed, but today, price is more important because the majority of people in the US are hurting. Across the country, many Americans are struggling with mounting credit card debt. The most recent data from the Federal Reserve reveals that credit card debt currently sits at $1.12 trillion. Yes, that's a trillion with a T in Q1 of 2024. Now, to succeed in commerce, you do not want to be targeting the people in debt. You want to target the higher-end customers. Remember, the goal of running a small e-commerce business is not to start the next Amazon.com or the next Walmart.com. Most people like you and me only need to make 6 or 7 figures per year to be more than well off and achieve financial freedom. So stop selling commodity products you find on Alibaba and just throw them up online. It's just not going to work. Now, the second strategy you should be employing is to sell products that the Chinese cannot sell or market very well. Say what you will about China, but in general, US consumers tend to distrust anything topical or ingestible that is made from China. Also, if you can offer a service on top of your products that is custom, that is another way to stand out. Recently, my wife and I have doubled down on personalization for all of our products. We've acquired 2 brand new fabric printers this year, the Sublistar Star 4 A3 printer and the Uninet iColor 650 white toner printer. We also have 6 embroidery machines in-house that run all day long doing custom embroidery. My rationale is that a seller in China will be less likely to offer personalization on a per-piece basis for their products. Also, someone willing to pay for personalization wants to have the product done right, and there's often some hand-holding involved in the process. But most importantly, you have to learn how to create content to build your brand. Let's face it, nothing being sold online is new or novel. It's just the same old stuff marketed differently. For example, we sell handkerchiefs in our store, which is a generic product. It's literally a piece of fabric. However, we reimagined the use of handkerchiefs for weddings and funerals, creating a new premium market for these same handkerchiefs. And early on with our business, we created craft tutorials on our blog, which funneled traffic directly to our shop. And this year, we're doubling down on short-form video to create brand awareness. Basically, you have to have a strong value proposition and a name to last the test of time, and the product in many cases matters less than the marketing. My favorite example of genius marketing is with Liquid Death. This company basically sells water in a beer can. And there's nothing that really tastes different about their water, but Liquid Death is a 9-figure company because of their ads. This is my favorite ad targeting Gen Z. Now, as a parent of 2 teenagers, I know that every kid wants to look cool. Drinking Liquid Death gives the impression of drinking beer, making them feel like rebels, which is a huge hit among kids. Liquid Death markets the coolness factor, focusing more on the emotions and less on the product itself. Now that you understand what's going on with marketplaces like Walmart, Amazon, and Etsy, I hope you realize that it's now more important than ever to own your own website and to create content around your brand. So make sure you watch this video here next to learn exactly what I would do if I were to start my company all over again today from complete scratch.